Good evening, teacher. My name is Mayra Enisa Pasacondori. I'm going to talking about globalization and interculturality. Topics: introduction, text body, globalization, definition, pros and cons of globalization, example of globalization, interculturality, definition, aims and objectives, importance of interculturality, and conclusions. Introduction. Today we are going through many changes, for example, because of globalization in many cases for the better and others for the worse. It is also important to talk about interculturality, which is important because that way we can learn more about other countries. What is globalization? Globalization is the word used to describe the growing interdependence of the world's economics, cultures, and population, brought about by cross-border trade in goods and services, technology, and flows of investment, people, and information. Countries have built economic partnerships to facilitate these movements over many centuries, but critics maintain that is also concentrated well in the corporate elite, disrupting industries and making local economic more vulnerable. Pros: globalization broadens access to goods and service. It is hard to argue with the point that globalization makes more goods and service available to more people and often at lower prices. Globalization can lift people out of poverty. In general, the globalization has increased job opportunities in capital scarce labor rich countries, developing countries. Globalization increases cultural awareness. Globalization defenders say it has increased cross-cultural understanding and sharing. A globalized society boosts the rate at which people are exposed to culture, attitudes, and values of people in other countries. Cons: workers can lose jobs to countries with a low cost labor. When the U.S. competes with the less developed countries, it is a big advantage. It is access to capital, whereas less developed countries, big advantage is their cheap labor. Globalization can contribute to cultural homogeneity. Globalization can contribute to cultural homogeneity. Globalization may lead to more cultural homogeneity as people preference convert, and if everyone wears jeans, learns English, and watches Hollywood movies, we may lose precious cultural practice and language. Globalization hasn't protected labor, environmental, or human rights. Globalization can be an opportunity to spread values and practice like environmentalism and labor rights throughout the world. In practice, that spread has been slow and imperfect. Example of globalization: economic globalization, financial globalization, cultural globalization, technological globalization. What does mean interculturality? Refers to existence and equitable interaction of diverse cultures and the possibility of generating shared cultural expressions through dialogue and mutual respect. Also, interculturality can be defined as the set of relationships and interaction that take place intentionally between different cultures in order to promote dialogue, mutual respect, and awareness of preserving of cultural identity of each individual. Aims and objectives. In general terms, interculturality aims to learn to live together peacefully and constructively in a multicultural world. In addition, intercultural dialogue can be a valuable tool for conflict prevention and resolution and for promoting respect for human rights. Other objectives that can be mentioned regarding interculturality is the sharing to perception of the world in order to understand and learn for those who perceive the world differently for their own. Interculturality communication also helps to manage cultural diversity in a democratic way and to develop projects together. Importance of interculturality. Interculturality can be means of developing citizenship formation since it allows the acquisition of values such as respect of others and tolerance in order to live in an harmonious society. In the commercial field, possessing intercultural skills are currently very important for various reasons. Companies not only want their employees to have better understanding of their workplace and their colleagues, but also to have the ability to adapt to the new work environment and prevent cultural clashes. Conclusions. Cultural diversity, far from being a disadvantage, is a riches. Proof of this we can see then in powers such as United States, which have know how to take advantage of the contribution of different cultures that converted. Globalization is a fact because of technology, because of an integrated global supply chain, because of changes in transportation, and we're not going to able to build a wall around. This phenomenon of globalization and interculturality are inevitable due to advantage in technology, and we have to make the change in our society possible. Thanks.